Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
We are 48 hours and 30 minutes to kick off the Browns and the Ravens. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on Channel 3. I'm Jay Crawford, and I'm going to tell you why the air has completely left this studio within the last 30 minutes. Bull?
Jay, I'm Adam the Bull, and yes, Deshaun Watson may not play this Sunday. What's it going to take for them to win with DTR potentially making his first NFL start? G. Bush.
Hey, I'm G. Bush, the people's champ, the leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia, and I'm going to tell you why you got about 5 to 10 days or 5 to 10 seconds to get with DTR and look up some of his highlights on YouTube because he might be playing.
And I'm Jason Lloyd. I'm going to tell you why the defense more than ever has to be on point against Lamar Jackson in Baltimore on Sunday. Mikey.
And I'm Mikey McNuggets, and I spent an entire week making graphics for Lamar versus Deshaun that have all gone to the Hayward in the last 10 minutes, so bear with us today.
Yes.
Now, we don't know it yet. We're
Yes.
to the
No.
point
Yeah.
we're kind of talking as if it's a foregone conclusion.
Right.
And it is trending in that way, but we don't know for sure
We
that
don't.
Watson will not play.
Some evidence to get you up to speed if you didn't watch the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show for the last 90 minutes on YouTube. Yesterday, he practiced. It was described as light throwing. Today, Deshaun Watson came out, made one pass, this according to Zach Jackson of The Athletic, made one pass, immediately went over, walked to the trainer, and that was it. He hasn't practiced since. After that happened, immediately Las Vegas moved the line on this game from Browns minus 2.5 to Browns minus 1. That's a significant
massive
shift.
swing.
Yeah, that
in
almost
20
never
minutes.
happens unless there's a hurt quarterback. So we're going to call a show audible. We were going to ask this question. Right now, you can choose one quarterback over the other. Were you going to take Lamar Jackson, or
Yes.
do you take Deshaun? Yeah.
I'll take Lamar Jackson.
Or are you going to take Deshaun Watson?
Lamar.
For the record,
Yeah.
I was Lamar.
Yeah.
I was Lamar.
I
even
was
before
Deshaun.
that.
But now we're calling that audible, and we're
Yeah.
saying this. If it is DTR, the Browns' pick at quarterback in the last draft, how are you game planning? What's your thoughts coming into this game with DTR as the starting quarterback, if that's the way it happens?
What makes it, usually when you have a guy making his first NFL start, especially a guy who's not, he's a late round pick. It's not like he's expected to be a starter at some point.
Right.
You would usually want to lean heavily on your running game. And we don't know yet if the Browns' current running game is capable. But we're going to find out. Because if Deshaun Watson doesn't play, I can't have DTR throwing the ball 40 times. They can't win that way. So the Browns are going to have to run it, and they're going to have to run it well. I know the defense has been great, guys, and I expect the defense to play great again. But how much can you ask of them? They're going to have, we say, well, if they hold them to 3 points. Well, it's not realistic to keep expecting them to hold teams to 3 points. The Browns' offense is going to have to score, and if they're going to do it, they're going to have a big ground game, because that will open things up a little bit for DTR to get something done in the passing game.
I do think they can throw it, but you're not looking for chunk plays 25 yards down the field with DTR. It's quick outs. It's Elijah Moore in the backfield again, even though we really haven't seen much out of Elijah production-wise to this point. But it's quick shots out of the backfield. It's getting guys the ball in space and making things happen. If you're trying to line up with Jerome Ford and you're trying to run it between the tackles 18, 20 times, I don't think that's very successful either against this Baltimore team. They're going to need DTR to make plays in the passing game. I just don't think it's the same type of plays that you would expect out of Deshaun Watson.
Listen, I expect this to be a field position game. You have to play complementary football. You got to get good special teams. And it's ironic that Nick Chubb goes, under surgery today, because that would be a great guy to have today or on Sunday if you want to run the football. I think you're going to have to lean more on Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, came in. He was a little banged up. He not really in football shape, but I think you're going to have to lean on Kareem Hunt a little more. And to Jason's point, you are going to need to have some throws from DTR. You can't just line up and run, the ball and hope Baltimore is going to be playing back. You got to hit some throws. You got to use his legs, and the defense has to have a great game.
It's the Baker Jacoby offense of 6-8 yards, throwing to a stationary target. You're not trying to hit guys in stride necessarily. There are ways that you can sort of get these guys into a rhythm early. Kevin's proven he's done it before with quarterbacks, again, like Baker and Jacoby Brissett.
I want you guys to bear with me because I'm still dealing with the stages of grief. Okay? But in the last 30 minutes, I have moved on to acceptance. Okay? For denial was big.
You skipped right over anger.
Yeah, anger is obviously. But I'm in the acceptance stage now, so don't kill me for this. DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, if this is his first start, is doing something that no one has ever done before. He's making that start after being a 5-year starter in college. Because of the COVID year, this guy started 5 years at UCLA. It wasn't an off school. It was a name brand school in a conference where he played in front of stadiums that had 90,000 fans. He knows what the hostile crowd can sound like, even though this will be a friendly crowd. If you have to have a first-time starting quarterback in the NFL, this might be your pick because he's got more experience as a college starter than anyone has before. So I'm trying to talk myself into the fact that this is going to be okay. Dumb the offense down, make everything quick, 6 to 8 yards. He looked more than capable. Don't kill me for this. I'm trying to cope. He looked more than capable when he saw him in the preseason.
Right.
Bull, hold your fire.
Yeah, hold on. Don't go crazy.
I'm coping, okay?
I hear you.
I know it's the preseason, but
I'll give you this. It's better that he looked good than
Yes.
bad.
absolutely, absolutely. So
Does
I think we're
anybody
there.
think there's a chance that they would start P.J. Walker, who's
No.
played
No.
games in
No,
the league?
no. They've got
I
DTR. They
agree.
want to see what they have.
No.
Again, cart before horse. He hasn't been ruled out for the game. It's entirely possible that he runs onto that field Sunday. But right now, it looks like it's trending in the other direction.
I don't think this is disaster.
I don't either.
I really don't.
With this defense, it's not disaster.
Well,
If the
you guys
defense-
both went from 60% to 20% in their chances
Well,
of winning.
that's before I was past acceptance.
But no, that's
Are we going up?
No,
Yes.
no, that's
40%?
Yeah, we did that on the YouTube show. Let's
Yeah.
do it here quickly. My thoughts on the Browns' chances of winning Sunday was at 60%. I said if he's out and it's DTR, it's 15%. I'm now up to 40%.
I moved up to 43%.
I can live at 40% too.
Okay.
I don't think this is not a lost cause because
No.
Yeah.
because Deshaun can't play. Now, it's a huge game, obviously, divisional game. We know all the ramifications of it going into a bye week. You'd much rather be 3-1 than 2-2. But I don't think that this is the lost cause by any means.
Would we love to have Nick Chubb? Of course we would. But with the guys they have back there, Kareem Hunt and Ford, you got to think that they can still make something happen in that vein, and I don't think it's nearly as bad as we thought it was 30 minutes ago.
In 5 seconds, I felt better because I got the Kool-Aid out. There
Drink
we
the
go.
Kool-Aid.
There you
Drink
go.
the Kool-Aid. Now, one thing we do know for sure, barring
Yeah.
any last-minute surprises, is Lamar Jackson's going to be there. Number 8 has been kind of mid this year. There's been moments where you looked at him and said, okay,
Yeah.
that's who he is. Other moments where you're still not sure. If the Browns decide to go with a spy to just keep an eye on him on every play and be his shadow, who should that guy be?
Well, my answer is there shouldn't be a guy.
Nobody.
I would not spy Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
I think taking one guy out of what he's normally doing and telling him, you just pay attention to this guy, I think that's a bad precedent to set. I understand Lamar is a unique quarterback. We all get that. But Mike gave us some numbers in his 5-pack of questions before where he talked about the fact that how bad Lamar is under pressure and how good the Browns are at getting pressure. If the Browns continue to get pressure on Lamar, as they've done to everybody else this year, and the corners, the great Martin Emerson and the pretty good Denzel Ward, if they are able to lock down their men one-on-one, I'm not worried about it. I don't need to put one specific guy. You do what you do. We'll take care of it as a pass rush organically. That's what I say.
Jay?
I've gone back and forth on this 100 times. I'm going to settle on JOK. I do think they need to spy him. If you're bringing heat, if you're trying to flush him from the pocket, you better have somebody there to catch him when he leaves the pocket.
Right.
I liked Grant Delpit until I trust Tyvis Powell more than, any of you guys. And Tyvis said he doesn't think it's as much one-on-one coverage because now you got your backs turned to the quarterback. And honestly, I didn't really think about that. So for that reason, you need Grant Delpit more in pass protection if you're not going to go man coverage on the outside as much. I don't know that JOK has the foot speed to keep up with Lamar, but he's a sure tackler, and you just want someone there. You just want someone taking up the space to fill the hole if Lamar's flush from the pocket. I've gone back and forth. You could probably convince me again to go Grant, but for now I'm going to say JOK.
Gee, who you got?
I've been back and forth. Grant Delpit is decent. JOK wouldn't be a bad guy, but I'm going to tell you who you need to be spying with, and it's Myles Garrett. And the reason you spy with Myles Garrett is, first and foremost, you can move him around. Well, I found something, and a bunch of people found something, when you move Myles Garrett to the strong side, to the weak side. What we want to do is we want to get in Lamar Jackson's head. We want him thinking about, where is Myles Garrett at? Where is he coming from? I'd move him back off the line of scrimmage. I'd put him at linebacker, and I'd make him worry about where Myles Garrett is instead of worrying about downfield. If you could do that, Zadarius Smith can get home, Dalvin Tomlinson can get home, Obo can get home, and I think that Myles Garrett can be a diversion as well as spying on Lamar Jackson. I go with Myles Garrett.
Yeah, it can't be Myles Garrett because I need him in pass rush. I don't want to not send Myles Garrett after the quarterback. We know what Lamar Jackson is under pressure. He is not nearly as good when the pocket is dirty. So I'm keeping Myles Garrett rushing after the passer. If he rushes the passer and Lamar runs the other way, you have no spy downfield. It can't be Delpit for the same reason that you said. Too far away from the line of scrimmage. I'm going to need him in pass help, in pass coverage help. So I want to keep him back there. He's done fine there. It's got to be JOK. And is he up to the task? I don't know. But he's, of the three linebackers, to me, he's the fastest. He's the most athletic. He's the one that, to me, makes the most sense. One of the things that we've looked at as we take a look at this rivalry and how this game matches up is who's going to win in the trenches. Cleveland's offensive line or the Ravens' defensive line. The Browns' offensive line currently ranks 26th in the NFL in terms of allowing sacks. The Baltimore defense gets home. They're 4th in the NFL in terms of getting to the quarterback. 5th. They average 3.7 sacks per game. Who wins that matchup in the trenches?
Those numbers would tell you the Ravens would win, but I don't buy those numbers because I think Deshaun Watson's responsible for a high percentage of his sacks. I think the Browns' problems on the offensive line are just one guy. To me, that's a big problem. But ultimately, and we had the Ravens beat reporter on yesterday, despite the numbers, he said, I'm concerned. They have Kyle Van Noy they signed this week. He's going to be one of their top 4 guys in the pass rush. So I think the Browns' offensive line is going to hold up well in this game and more often than not win the battle. So I'm going to give a slight edge to the Browns' O-line.
For the sake of this topic, I'm going to say it all comes down to DTR because the ball has to come out a little bit quicker. We talked on the show, the YouTube show, about if it's an hour and if it's Deshaun, he can hold the ball a little bit longer and he can make things happen, and that puts a lot more pressure on the offensive linemen to hold the blocks a little bit longer. With DTR, it's got to come out fast. You haven't earned that right really to hold on to the ball long and try and make something happen. See the read, make the play, get it out. So for that reason, if he can get it out on time, on target, I'll give the edge to the Browns, but it really comes down to DTR and how long he's holding on to the ball.
Offensive lineman's best friend is running play action, getting the ball out. I think if you run the ball, they don't know what's coming, mix it up front, and that slows down any pass rusher. Take it from me, the defensive end.
Yeah, it's funny. Going into the game, I would have thought that it would have been the Ravens' defensive line for the reason you talked about. He holds the ball for a long time, Deshaun Watson does, and he creates a lot of his own sacks. But if it is DTR, I think you're making the offense 1-2 out. Get to the top of your drop and get the ball out of your hand. So for that, I think it's kind of going to be a wash. I don't think either side's going to be dominant in the trenches. We're taking a break. When we come back, very interesting Super Bowl odds pertaining to our Cleveland Browns. We discuss them when the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on Channel 3 comes right back. And we welcome you back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on WKYC. Thanks so much for spending time with us. Before we get into the Super Bowl odds talk, which is interesting, Bull, you want to update us on the Ravens' health situation.
Right. We've talked a lot about Deshaun Watson's injury. His status kind of unknown now for this weekend. But we've already heard that Odell Beckham and Marlon Humphrey, obviously Marlon Humphrey's by far their best corner. Those guys, again, did not practice today, so neither one is likely to play. But also Rashad Bateman, who's their number 3 receiver, did not practice today.
Okay.
2 of their starting linebackers did not practice today, and their left tackle, Ronnie Stanley.
Wow.
All 6 of those guys, not even limited. None of them practiced today.
All right, very interesting. Talk odds now. 26-1 That's where your Cleveland Browns sit right now after 3 games in the Super Bowl odds. And this is from Caesars Sportsbook. So you see the top 5 there on the left. And then on the right, you've got the Browns down there at number 10. They're the number 10 pick, 26 to 1, plus 2,600. Guys, if this season played out 26 times, how many times would the Browns win the Super Bowl? According to this, it would be once.
Yeah, I'm with that. I think that makes the most sense. I think any more than that would be overly biased. I mean, certainly it could be 0, right? You know, the Browns haven't proven anything yet. It's 3 games. However, the way they've played defense so far leads you to believe they will have one of if not the best defense in football.
Right.
So yes, if you played the season 26 times, I think it's reasonable to think, as crazy as it may sound, that the Browns would win one of those 26 times the Super Bowl.
The fact that there's 32 teams in the NFL and the Browns are one of the top 10 to even be in this conversation makes my head explode. So I don't
pretty much.
I don't know the answer. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that sportsbooks think they're one of the top 10 teams that have a chance.
I mean, you know, this just goes to show you how great the Browns defense has been, how elite they've been. And, you know, I've been on record saying I don't think this just could be just this year. I think this could be an all-time great defense the way they're playing with Jim Schwartz. And defense travels in the playoffs. You look at it, what the Browns are built on is defense, running the football, Deshaun Watson playing better and making throws. I think with this defense, they win one time. I'll give them the one. I can't say 2 unless this offense comes around. But one time, I can see it winning.
See, there's so many teams for me, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Niners, the Dolphins now, that if you played it 26 times, I think all 4 of those could win it multiple times. So it starts dwindling. I'm a little.
The Dolphins would be in your top 4?
Dolphins, listen, I think the Dolphins are one of the top 5 teams in the NFL right now.
Better
It's
than
not prisoner of the moment because of the 70 points.
But
I
it
think
is
they're
kind
right
of.
there with the Bills.
But
I
right
think the
now
Dolphins
is
and the Bills
meaningless.
right now.
It's who's
well, the question
end of
is
the year.
based on what we know right now. To your point, the defense, if it continues to play that well, I think they do have a chance to win a Super Bowl if the season played out 26 times. But if they did, it would only be once for me. So I think they're fairly rated as the 10th long shot to win the Super Bowl. And let's see where that number goes as the season plays out.
Real quick, the official injury report is out, and Deshaun Watson is questionable. Listed as questionable.
Well, that's better than out.
Better than doubtful.
And better than doubtful.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance. All right, very good. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to do fence riders. We make guys pick a side. You have to go one way or another. Where are we going? Find out when the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on WKYC comes right back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. A little bit of breaking news for you here. Deshaun Watson took one throw in practice today. Shoulder didn't feel right. Came over, talked to the trainer. DTR, the backup, has taken all of the snaps in practice. I'm told now that most gambling sites have taken this game off the board.
Kevin Stefanski's talking to the media now. He said he's hopeful Deshaun can play on Sunday, but what else is he going to say?
Yeah.
Of course,
I mean, it's very rare that a guy takes no snaps on a Friday and plays on a Sunday.
Right.
You're right.
That's game plan Friday.
It's possible that he could wake up Sunday morning and say, miraculously, I feel great.
with the help of injections and modern medicine.
Yeah, which they probably haven't done yet. You'd want to save that
Save
for
it.
Sunday, so we'll see. All right, let's do Fence Raiders, McNuggets. What do we have?
Let's do it, guys. One of these was Deshaun Watson related. We have taken that off the board just like Vegas has done with the line for the game. So we have a 2-pack of Fence Riders for you. The first one is a question I never thought I would ask in a million years, but will any Ravens running back have more than 35, just 35 rushing yards against the Browns? We had a 4-3 split here. Myself, G, Jay, and Bull all said yes. Earl, Tyvis, and Jason said no.
Wow, Jay.
Stingy defense.
35 yards is not much.
And neither are the Ravens running backs.
What do they have? No, good answer. And if you go by history, the Browns just aren't giving up
They're
yards.
not giving up yards. I don't think this is the team that's going to crack that code.
Wow, if you can hold their leading rusher under 35.
that's not the leading rusher.
I think Lamar Jackson will easily go over 35.
Yeah.
But if they don't have a running back that goes over 35, that bodes very well for the Browns.
I mean, guys, you could fall forward for a few inches and get some yards. I think that's kind of tough, man. I mean, we saw the Browns give up a longer run. Granted, what they did against Derrick Henry gives you a really excitement of it. I think that somebody at least gets at least 40 yards.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a huge game from a Ravens back, but
I can't believe G's
Gus
pouring out
Edwards.
the Kool-Aid and I'm drinking it.
Yeah, no, that's a role
That's a
reversal
role
if I've
reversal.
ever seen
Yeah.
one. Well, they held Derrick. You're right. Derrick Henry didn't do anything.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one?
Next one. This goes back to our favorite, our birthday boy this week, MJ Emerson. Will this be the week that either Greg Newsome or Martin Emerson gets their first career interception off Lamar Jackson? Earl, G, J, and Bull, y'all said yes.
Well,
Jason,
I'm playing
myself, and Tyvis.
I'm playing the law of
Said no.
averages. I mean, these guys are, especially Emerson, he's a ball hawk. He's got to get one at some point. So why not this week?
I mean, if you're going to be mentioned with the best of the best, you got to have a pick, right?
At least one.
Eventually, let's go.
I'm as big as Martin Emerson fan as anyone
Yeah.
on the set. We already said Newsome interceptions ain't his thing.
Thing.
So I'm just going to play the odds. If it hasn't happened yet, it probably won't be this Sunday. But eventually, I think Martin Emerson will be.
He got to get
interception.
lucky sometime. One of the two going to get a pick. Who knows? I'm going to go on the board and say it's Emerson.
I think the reason I said yes is because I really think the Browns' defensive front, they're going to make life very uncomfortable for Lamar Jackson. And when Lamar Jackson gets uncomfortable, he tends to throw interceptions.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why I think one of the two will pick one. All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, you're probably wondering who wins the game Sunday. Well, we're going to tell you. It's our pre-written headline segment where we tell you who wins when the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on Channel 3 comes right back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on WKYC Channel 3. If you want to catch us 2 hours a day, you can watch us on our YouTube show every Monday through Friday, 11 to 1. After every Browns game, starting at the 2-minute warning, we do a post-game show. We talk till we have nothing left to say. It's Cleveland's highest-rated post-game show when it comes to the Browns, so make us a habit. All right, it's time to do pre-written headlines. That's where we tell you who wins 49 hours before the game. Bull? Who do you got?
Well, this was my headline before we got the news on Deshaun Watson today. Ravens jailed. Home invasion foiled by Schwartz-led defense. Remember yesterday, we played the clip of Roquan Smith saying, hey, it's like every team wants to come into your house and beat you up in front of your wife. Well, the Ravens tried, and they lost. I'm not going to be full of baloney. I think the Browns still have a chance with DTR. If DTR is a starting quarterback, I will flip my pick and pick the Ravens to win. I hope I'm wrong about that if it happens. But I had the Browns winning 27-13 or 23-13. But if DTR plays, I've got the Ravens winning 13-10.
All right, G?
I ain't changing nothing up. My headline says, go grab you a cup. Browns defense has the fans drinking the Kool-Aid, and you know what I got. This is sponsored by the Black Cherry and Watermelon Kool-Aid. Get your cup right now. I think the Browns defense shows up and shows out like they always do. DTR at quarterback. They're going to need a big game from Myles Garrett in the defense. I'm going with the Browns, and I'm going with them winning this game 23-13.
Miles looks good in your T-shirt.
Yes, he does. Kool-Aid Mafia in the building.
Jason?
I wasn't as creative as you guys. I just have the Browns flying high. At the last minute, I picked the Browns. I'm going to stick with the Browns, even if DTR plays. Defense grounds Lamar. Browns enter bye in first place. I still think that holds true. This defense is legit. And to me, it's going to come down to, listen, Deshaun didn't play well in week 1, and they still scored 24 points against the Bengals. I realize that was with Nick Chubb, who's not there now, but this team can still win even without if Deshaun doesn't play.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not changing my pick.
Technically, if the Browns and Steelers both win, the Steelers are in first place.
Yeah, but they're still in first place.
But the record,
We'll take it.
they'd be even. Steelers would have the tiebreak. Okay, yeah, I'm going with the Cleveland Browns, and I'm going with the Browns whether it's Deshaun Watson or DTR. They make Ravens Smith eat crow. That's in response to him saying, we're going to come into their house and beat them in front of their wife and kids. All of us agreed that wasn't really smack talk, especially when you hear him say it and you don't read.
It was taken out of context.
When you read the text, it sounds like it was bad.
Yeah.
When you watch it, it wasn't nearly that bad. I think it'll be lower scoring and closer if it's DTR starting. But in defense, I trust. In Jim Schwartz, I trust. I don't think this Ravens offense, who scored 17 last week in a loss against the Colts, I don't think they can get double digits against the Browns. So they don't have to do much to pull out the win. McNuggets.
All right, and I'm also going, regardless if it's DTR or Watson, I'm going with the Browns to win. How about this headline? outcasts in Cleveland. Sorry, Mr. Jackson. This defense
Oh,
is real.
boy.
And that's only 2.5 seconds. You can't sue us. Take that, YouTube.
Don't ever sing on the show again, though, okay, McNuggets?
Yeah, it's not one of my strong suits. Creativity is, execution and singing
No,
not.
I like what you did there.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it. It's going to be interesting. Again, he's just questionable right now, so that certainly doesn't mean that we're not going to see him. It's just up in the air right now. That's going to do us for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on WKYC Channel 3. Don't forget, we have a post-game show that begins at the 2-minute warning of Sunday's Browns-Ravens game. You can catch us every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. on our YouTube show, where we give you 2 hours of Browns talk each and every day. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the game. We'll see you next week.